Here's a thought experiment. It's the future, and advances in physics and neuroscience have made it possible to build a machine that can predict with certainty what any person will do at any time. It turns out that every choice you've ever made was completely predetermined billions of years ago at the moment of the Big Bang, and is now predictable with a powerful enough computer. So in this deterministic world, where your choices can't really be said to be your own, if you murder somebody, is it your fault? Right now we'd say yes, but many scientists argue that this is because our brains are lying to us. They say we are living under a persistent mental illusion called free will. Many neuroscientists now think that what we call free will is just the result of electrical and chemical signals in the brain, explainable ultimately by the laws of physics. This means that our choices may be as predictable as clockwork, and freedom may be a myth. The idea has yet to catch on in the general public, however, and good thing. Psychological experiments suggest that a society that doesn't believe in free will would suck. In one experiment, subjects were primed with readings from a book suggesting that free will is an illusion. They were then given a math test and an opportunity to cheat without being detected. The people who reported that the reading had eroded their belief in free will ended up being more likely to cheat on the test. Similar experiments have shown that lack of belief in free will correlates with being less altruistic and more likely to intentionally harm others. This may sound like a recipe for social chaos, but other lines of research suggest we do not easily part with our notions of free will. When presented with a thought experiment in which a baby is correctly predicted to grow up and rob a bank in 30 years' time, subjects overwhelmingly report that he should be held morally responsible for his actions, even if they were predetermined. Some argue that this is because our notion of free will is so deeply ingrained in how we understand the world that while we might temporarily believe otherwise in lab settings, in the real world we naturally come back to the idea that we are in control of our actions. Others argue that a better understanding of the machinery of the brain could strengthen our belief in free will, by illuminating how we weigh options against our experiences and desires to come to a decision. Now wait a minute, you might say. Quantum mechanics and chaos theory say we can't ever predict the future perfectly. Doesn't that mean this whole determinism thing is nonsense? It may indeed be impossible to perfectly predict a person's behavior, but that doesn't actually mean it's not predetermined. And in any case, whether or not free will exists, we may be hardwired to believe that it does. And the evidence suggests that this belief makes us more honest, altruistic, and generous. So free will may be a lie, but it may be one we have no choice but to believe. Read more in the April 16th issue of New Scientist.